Sorry? Oh, sorry. The website is in your sheet, your schedule sheet, on the third page. worldwideweb.cdio.rmutt. cdio.rmutt.ac.th. So for the second talk, we have Associate Professor Dr. Adiwong Suchato, the Vice Dean of Faculty of Engineering, Chulalongkorn University. And he's going to give a talk on automatic assessment of students' performance and accreditation requirements. Please join me to welcome Dr. Adiwong.
Thank you, Dr. Dao. Good afternoon, colleague. I am Adiwong Suchato from Chulalongkorn University. So as the host of you today, I would like to ask the first question. How was your lunch? Good? You can have those spicy food? Right. Anyone miss the coconut ice cream? Have you got one? Wow, anyone who missed the coconut ice creams, too bad. That's also good, right? Okay. All right. Let's get to work. Okay. So as a very nervous speaker, right, I would like to ask for opportunity today in 20 minutes to share with you a tool, okay, a tool that university we adopt to address the needs of education that we are facing right now. Okay, the talk title, okay, I changed from Dr. Dao mentioned just a bit, okay, it's gonna be driving modern day education with my course view. So basically, with this very big name, basically, it's just our case at Chulalongkorn University that I'd like to share with you. So 5 topics will be covered. First, I'll mention the thing that probably would like to convince you that we are in the age of modern education that, well, a lot has been asked for us to do. And of course, technology and systems will help you do that, okay? But there will be concerns and we'll share our view about that. Then I'll share about the story of our case. We consider to solve the problem, or at least try to tackle the problem by creating our own homegrown solutions in accompany with the licensed software that we purchased. Then I'll go in a bit of details of what actually my course view, which is the name of the system that we use, is all about. And then I strongly believe that in the future, very near future, data from education will be an important source for us to learn about what actually happens in our education systems. So I touch upon a bit on our endeavor or preliminary attempts in doing learning analytics based on the system that we deployed, and then wrap it up with our view of what we need to do next. So basically, this is a picture of, well, what that are asked of us, right? All the requirements. Students needs to kind of like access the class, the teacher needs to prepare everything, right? Adjust ourselves, delivering new paradigm of the education, while management, administrations of the college, the universities need to take care of the information and plan for, well, accreditation of curriculum, implements the frameworks, education frameworks that we are focusing on, right? And the pressure, well, basically it's a good thing that many of us will turn and put our efforts into the accreditation process. So basically, we're gonna need to ensure that our students have the outcomes that we intend to build them. So in our case at Chulalongkorn University, this part, the green ones, are the ones that we can achieve using the learning management system that we purchased. We have been using a licensed commercial software for more than 10 years. And these green parts are the part that it covers. Then later on, we can acquire or adapt our license package in order to, well, cover the needs to access our system via mobile and adapt the usage of the system in order for students, for teacher to deliver active learning, flipped classroom, blended learning. Of course, we're gonna need tools to do that. And our current state is that we can still acquire or kind of extend our existing part. But the needs are very diffracted, right? Here, as a matter of fact, the registration, the enrollment, and the course evaluation at Chulalongkorn University, we kind of like have another in-house piece of software to do that. And then there are things like, well, of course, social networking, career path, lifelong learning, accreditation, information system that integrate everything together, and the tools that support us in implementing education framework like CDIO, right? These still left to be done. And it is kind of hard to kind of like chopping and pick these pieces. They won't work well together. I believe that many of you have come across these problems. So what do we do? What we do is that, well, like our main speaker in the morning, key speaker in the morning mentioned that engineering school, we would like students to dare to dream and dare to do. So as an instructor, so why don't we just make one? Okay, so then we make one because we think that teachers, we are, well, partially the users, right? The direct users of the systems. We know the pain point, we know the need, right? And then, well, younger teachers will be very close to students. They know how student feels, they know how student, what our student needs in order to use the systems. And when you grow older, you are responsible for managing the curriculums. And eventually, when you grow much older, somebody is going to appoint you with the strategies of education, right? So we kind of partially the users as well as the operators of the systems. So that's the reason that we think that we would like to build this by ourselves in-house, right? Then, but, well, unfortunately, this functionality is about what our system should do, right? But in today's context, students has all the right to be critical about tools that we ask them to use, right? We are happy to hear student complaints about when we force them to use bad tools or something like that, right? And if you think that students are very picky, think about the professor, right? You know, in all our hearts that, okay, pleasing our colleagues, it's a very challenging but lovely job, right? So apart from these functionalities, these are the words that in today's application context, we have to take care of, right? The fact that everything needs to be mobile first, students, teachers use social networks. We are expecting an always-on system. What does that mean? That means that if a student pick up the phone, their mobile phone, smart device, they would like to access a class, they should be able to do in 1 or 2 touch, not have to go through all the login process, right? LMS, in the past, I mean, we have a nice systems that have everything in our class. But then, student is not in our class, right? Student is in their social networks, in their real life. But today, social networks is a part of their life. Our vision is that, our intention is that, why don't we just base on social network that they use, and then the class, the activity in class, the motivation will be there to them in real life. So that leads us to build something, right, called Conceive, right? What I would like to share is what the system does and, well, our humble experience, okay? by no means, I don't intend to say that what I'm going to present to you is any best practice, right? I don't intend that, but hopefully it's not a bad practice. All right, so there are a little bit of history. Basically, it starts from, well, myself that think that, okay, as a user, well, a teacher is asked to use LMS, but then, of course, you know, young teacher, right? Young instructor, they always complain about everything. I was one of them, okay? So it's hard to please a young instructors. Then we think that, okay, what is the problem? What was the problems? Why it's not fit to students and users? So we think that we would like to make some experimental tools that have social network being the authorization. Basically, instead of logging into social LMS, use social network. And once they use social network, they can learn, right? We try to do that and then adjust look and feel to be very student-centered. At that point, so it's around 2011, the usage of my course view is not very sophisticated. It is limited to a close-knit group of instructors that were close to me enough so that I can force them to use, all right? And then after that, so basically the first year is the development phase. After that, the university think that we still have gaps in motivating or encouraging instructors to use LMS. I'm not sure whether other institutions has these problems, but here at Chulalongkorn University, we do not force teachers to do anything. Well, I'm not saying that that's the right move, but that's the culture. So using of the tools gotta be voluntary. We think that, okay, why don't we try to challenge ourselves to not just developing software, but challenge ourselves to service, basically operate the software. So at that year, in that year, we're gonna need to, well, the team are engineers, but engineers needs to do what? We will travel around the campus, provide the road shows, talk to people, have manuals. That's, well, quite a pain. And then have call center, have Facebook page to support, right? So at that year, my cost will grow a lot, okay? Compared to the CDIO framework, we are moving from the development part, okay, to implementing stuff and operate stuff. That means we have to kind of provide call centers, things like that, right? But somehow we survive and grow a lot, okay? Then later on, 2 or 3 years ago, we are talking about Education 3.0, the fact that we're gonna need to move from just using the tools to moving ourselves to new paradigms. Let students build their knowledge, okay? We're gonna have to turn around and see what tools to use, okay? My course will was used for that purpose, right? So that means whenever the universities, not whenever, but many times when the university have training courses that will basically introduce instructors to do active learning, to do flipped classroom. We accompany that with how to implement that using our tools. That's the part that we support the paradigms. But then again, we grow quite a lot until, well, recently, well, lots of needs are placed in the systems. Okay, the system have proved ourselves to be it can answer, well, if you can remember those requirements, it can answer more and more of them. So in the future, today and into the next few years, we will be talking about expansion from LMS to interrupt with other systems. I will briefly touch upon the fact that we can actually begin to benefit from big data analysis. We can, we of course, with the pressure of accreditation, we are building outcome-based system from learning materials, from activities, from schedules inside the LMS. And then hopefully that will turn out to be a source, very useful source for students to build their own e-portfolio, which will support their, well, later on, even if they graduate from our schools. And of course, in order to cope with the challenging future of university, blended learning needs to be taken seriously. The threat of online courses, free online courses, paid online courses, we're gonna need to mix the benefit of having a physical campus with the benefits of online courses. That means we're gonna have to have tools that are available for that, and we are serious about video services. So this is the growth of the usage of my course field. Probably you will not have to care about the units of the numbers, but basically it continues to grow from a close-knit groups of users, right? So the tendency is that it will keep going. In Chulalongkorn University, like I said, we have around 7,000 courses campus-wide. The majority part, unfortunately, the majority of the course still don't report or use LMS systems. But among the courses that use LMS, BB is Blackboard. I think I can name that. Okay, it's the license package that we acquire, we purchase. So right now it's around 2 times the courses that are using our homegrown systems. In terms of administrative decisions, we are planning to kind of like push forward our homegrown things. And also at our home base, which is Chula Engineering, we cover around 70–80% of the courses, okay? Some of you might wonder why not 100%, because like I said, the culture here is that we will not force instructors to do things, but we encourage. So with the voluntarily basis, we covered around 70–80% of the courses and 100% of undergrad students. And we also promote and ask our partners to try and use the systems. So as of 2016, the 2 campuses other than Chulalongkorn University that heavily use Microsoft is Rajamangala University of Technology Thanyaburi, who is a co-host of this event, and also another university, Ubon Ratchathani University. They kind of like deploy CourseView very extensively in their campus. So what is actually my CourseView nowadays? I mentioned that it is a learning management system. We try to push forward. We are pushing forward for this to be education platform. And by education platform, in my view, of course, the basic is learning management. We are looking at the fact that the systems that can answer everything, it should be knowledge aggregation, publishing, active, teaching learning tools, online course platform, distance learning channel, and at the end, learning analytics that will help us understand and basically use some machine learning to deliver some, well, futuristic features. So as a learning management system, this is what it looks like. So basically, oh, I think I forgot one thing. I forgot to show you what this system is actually looks like, right? So, well, hopefully I didn't accidentally delete the thing. Too bad, I deleted the slide. But anyway, this is my course view. It looks like this. Okay, you can go to courses, you go there, and of course with the fact that it's learning management system, it manages course materials, assignments, evaluation, discussion. It links to Facebook. When you post something, you can relay that to post to Facebook, use Facebook group to communicate and things like that. That's the basic functionality of my course view. I strongly believe that apart from learning management systems, as a modern educators, we do not restrict ourselves that we're gonna need to create all the knowledge for our students. We know that there are lots of knowledge out there, right? But as the designer or leader of a course of our students, we're gonna need to design what they should learn, right? You know that, for example, YouTube's video, we have quite a lot of readily available and suitable knowledge that we would like to pick and then let our students learn, right? But we would not like to do that randomly or in a defragmented fashion, because what the point about the course is that we're gonna need to know that how students do, whether students watch the videos, whether they understand things or not, right? So simply just copying the YouTube link and assign in email to students, that's probably not very effective. So in Conceive, we have an idea that we have features that you can search for YouTube playlists, and then once you have YouTube playlists, you would like to assign to students, you assign. And when you assign, it's in one place. It's in learning management systems. Students come there, comes here, come in the course, look at the video. We know the percentage, the time that they look at the videos, right? Well, it's something like this for the playlist, right? Suppose you would like to do intro to engineering. So it fetch YouTube, and then, well, find whatever you like, and then pick that, and it's get added, right? Once it's get added, of course, like I said, would like to track, of course, as you can track the students. And furthermore is that we think that apart from videos, so we somehow, sometimes as instructors, many times we're gonna need to write books, right? And then the work in process, we have PDF files that is not published yet. And then how can we let students use in class our unpublished work? So that's the problems of, my problems for sometimes and the problems for some other colleagues. So in my course, we say that, okay, of course you have the scope of your class. If you have unpublished work, we'll find a way that you can distribute your work with our students can save the file, right? So that way you can let students use your work, and then at the same time peaceful that in mind that it's not leaked. So it's something like this. We have a platform that takes PDF, and then it converts to some format, right? And then you click publish to your course. And just like videos, if students read the book, we should know which students or how many students read the books, okay? That can be adapted to active learning, flipped classroom, right? All right. So it's not gonna be long. So the fact that I would like to show this too is that the look and feel of our systems, it's gonna be a little bit different than other web. So if you'd like to just preview, okay, it reads in the systems, okay? It's not just simply PDF, and when you publish to course, it goes to course view, and students can have access to the book right away. Then of course we have visualization and with videos. That part, when we talk about knowing about students, whether who watch the videos, okay? Another part is that if we look at the kind of our content itself. Another view of course is that we would like to analyze our content, whether which part of the videos that students watch a lot, which part students seems to skip all the time, right? So it helps us improve the content. This one. So this is a sample of a video. It's a discrete math video that is my course. So I would like to know, okay, we seem to have a peak of watching here. It looks like this, okay? Hey, look at this. It seems to be some viewing, and then there might be some skipping here. That's why this drops. The number of viewing drops. Okay, it's me, all right? Also, we have some viewing here, and then it drops. Okay, for example, here, and we see here, and here. All right, you can observe. Yeah, actually what I find out about this is that the bars that have a lower viewing is usually me. So probably I will ask the e-learning staff to not, taping me, just taping the the slides, all right? Things like that. Then we have active learning tools, something like clicker, okay? This is an example from a class that I invite speaker. So this post gets broadcast to student device, right? Students will use their smartphones, okay? But the surveys is already on their smartphones, okay? And then, well, the instructor can show the number of responses, and when it says on air is that it means that this question is broadcasted to student devices. So teacher, when they think she get enough, she will just hit take off air. So then it will be taken away, not broadcast anymore, right? So in this course, we use this is in active learning. You see that there are no special settings, no special techniques, but we use this too. We have, well, she will conduct the class when already receive the feedback from students. What we learn is that with this simple tool, it means that we can receive feedback. But what I learned is that it's not just that we receive feedback. It means that students can do something. It opens them up so that later on we can easily engage more with students. This is like 120 students in classes, but well, I think she did a pretty good job in engaging with this class without any fancy toys. Well, Conceive is quite fancy, but nothing apart from that. Then there are timers, you can do quizzes. Well, one other thing that, well, personally I did not use much until recently is the attendance check. So this part is that students use their smartphones to snap the QR code that instructors show on screens. At that point, after they shoot this picture, it's going to be check the attendance by themselves. Okay, we used to conduct the active learning class room a lot. Okay, for example, for this one, we kind of like let instructors from all over the country to use Conceive, bring their own device, and well, introduce how we can use these kind of tools in, well, making active learnings. The tool itself will not be active. It depends on how you design to do it. We also goes to, well, somebody asked me about Got Summit is here, right? But this, I would like to show you that the idea of bring your own device and use device in classroom is not for just university students. We used to do experiments, well, we fly there to an island in the middle of Gulf of Thailand and let students in lower secondary schools use their device in a classroom, all right? It seems that they seems to be happy, it's me, all right? But the students after class is happy. And when I asked that whether you like this kind of teaching compared to, well, too bad, I mean what you have, all right? They like this very much, okay? I would like to point out here is that when we talking about using device in the classroom and using the system, we always worry about whether it's too complicated to set up, whether students can use that or not. What I learned from this group of students is that they don't care. They're just born with it. The thing that we worry about setting up the software and things, well, okay, they don't need to set up, but to access, to use the device, it's just natural, they can do that, right? We implement online courses and learning analytics. The sample here is some tools that in Conceive, if you record scores or attendance, you can find, well, use the tool visualize the correlation. This one shows the tendency of students, whether they have a strong academic background, have a good discipline records, things like that. And then we, well, publish some papers in something like using behavioral data to determine whether they will be success in class, analyze the periodic activities of our Chulalongkorn University, well, basically schedules, things like that. And the last one is to kind of analyze actual contents in class, whether it conforms with the standard guideline or not, without having a real human to actually go through all the paperwork, right? So, what to do next is that we are really focused on online course. We think that, I think many of you share this thinking. Online course will be a must for us, even though we have physical university, physical campus. But to blend in online courses with our benefits of having specialties, having lab tools, things like that, is the thing that we have to look at in the future. Then outcome-based, we are building e-portfolios when in every objects in courses, you can mark with outcome with different level, whether it's teaching, using, or access, in order to automate the reports, to look at the e-portfolio of course, of students, of curriculum, of universities, and hopefully have the product, have the students will have their works lifelong, things like that. And then, of course, and eventually, we think the platform will grow. In terms of computer engineering, we are working on building ourselves as a platform. That means students can make their own applications that, with some secure channel, they have their own application that connect to CoursView and use their whatever imagination that they would like to do with the data in their LMS, right? So that's pretty much what I would like to cover. If you are interested in my CoursView, right? That's a Facebook page, facebook.com/myCoursView. I will be very happy if, well, today we will get like 100 more likes on the page. Thank you very much. If you have questions, I'll be very happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adiwong. Any question from the floor? Yes.
Immediately when you introduced your topic, I Googled and checked on your FB.
Yeah.
But one of the difficulty is language barrier.
Of course.
How with the software translating Thai English?
I think Facebook have already done that for you, but it's gonna be a broken English. But
So interesting that the use of cell phones will not only be limited to social media, but at least a learning paradigm.
yep,
But I hope you could have a translation of your course bill.
of course. But the interface, of course, we are all in English, but our fan page is not. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please follow the example, okay? 100 more likes would be satisfying.
Right.
I will sleep well tonight.
Yes, and I would like to invite. Oh, sorry. So, yes.
In case of long duration videos, have you introduced any analytic method by which you can introduce phase-wise queries? Because you showed one video earlier that wherein the interest levels are continuously or dynamically being matched.
You mean when we look at how many people watch each part of the video?
My question is, if you have a 1-hour lecture, the 1-hour lecture maybe at a particular point you are doing definition of the parameter. So I just want to go to the definition of the parameter while I'm scanning the lecture. Have you got that kind of a video analytics query system?
We still don't have that fancy features, but we are serious about videos. We think that for at least we're gonna need to be able to do some interactions with public domain videos. And yeah, of course, indexing, the searching, being able to search is one of the challenge. But unfortunately, the videos we have is, well, a nice player, friendly player, but not very fancy intelligence feature at the moment.
Okay, thank you. And in this occasion, I would like to invite Associate Professor Thanyaburi Singhanat, Vice Dean of Faculty of Engineering, to present a token of appreciation.